Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a cautionary tale about the bottom-dwelling scraps of great artists, the detritus of their careers. Here is our example of detritus. This is Pierre Monteux on the Somm label, which has done some lovely things and, has, like so many labels today, kept itself going by plowing around through radio archives looking for historical things that must be valuable because they're historical. Well, in this case, we have Pierre Monteux and some recordings of works, most of which he's done on multiple occasions for other labels under controlled studio conditions. And these are live mono, they're basically mono, and mostly just in execrable sound and interpretations of no special merit, and really just they never should have been released, frankly. There's one exception. We're going to get to that. So this is Monteux, CD1. You've got, first of all, try to figure out who's doing what with what. It's one of these, A, B, C, D, instead of just having work orchestra, we've got to figure it out. So let me get my magnifying glass here because this is microscopic. There we go. All right. So we have work A, right? Yes. A is Weber's Jubilee Overture, the Jubel Overture, which actually I don't think Monteux did before. So that's a newcomer, an 8-minute newcomer to his discography. Whoopee. With the BBC Northern Orchestra in hissy, mono, awful, air check, constricted, boxy, disgusting sound. And the performance, you can't really tell. It's okay, I guess. Then we've got Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony. That's B. B is with the Royal Philharmonic. Okay, so we've got a decent orchestra because these are from, 1963 for A. You've got the orchestra's A here, the dates A, B, C down here. It's so awfully laid out. And let's see, the BBC studio is Royal Phil, which is 1960 for B. So they're all in like the late 50s. Well, they go back as far as 55, but basically 50s, 60s, 61, somewhere in there. Okay, 63. But boy, do they sound lousy. So you've got the Pastoral Symphony, which Monteux did studio-wise gloriously, gorgeously for Decca with the Vienna Philharmonic. I mean, why would we ever want to hear this thing? You don't. You just don't. It's a chore to listen to. And the performance is certainly not better than his other versions. Same thing with the Rhapsody Espagnole, which was he did with the LSO on Philips or something like that. And the Daphnis and Chloe Suite No. 2. Of course, we have the complete Daphnis and Chloe on Decca. I mean, he conducted the premiere. The Daphnis is a particularly terrible recording. Not only is there hiss, but it is so closely mic'd at such a high level that it's and compressed at the same time. It's excruciating. At the beginning you have the clarinets and the harps. Well, this is going. I mean, it sounds like a totally different piece. It's grotesque, absolutely grotesque. Okay, so that's CD1. I mean, a total, complete, useless waste of carbon-based materials. Then we've got, Haydn's London Symphony, so number 104. Now, he recorded the Surprise and the Clock symphonies in the studio, and I think there's a 104 earlier. I can't remember. I didn't actually look because I didn't need to, because this is so wretched. I felt no need to run around and make active comparisons. You're just not going to want to hear it. This one, on the other hand, unlike the Ravel, sounds as though you're hearing it from another county. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And it's not a performance that's special enough to make any difference. It's there. Then we've got the one interesting number, the Rite of Spring. Why didn't they just release the Rite of Spring? I mean, it's all they needed to do. All this other crap with it, right? So it's the Rite of Spring 50th anniversary performance from 1963, and it's live. It's at Royal Albert Hall, which is always a problem. The BBC Radio Air Check. It's actually the best sounding thing on the disc, I think, on these two discs. It's a performance of general. Well, it's a good performance. It has obviously mistakes. It's live. Things happen. It's Albert Hall, but it fills up the room. I mean, it's powerful and it's exciting. Now, of course, there's a very good mono Rite of Spring from Monteux. There's a stereo one with the Paris Conservatory Orchestra, which is just dreadful, on Decca. But RCA has the mono one with the Boston Symphony, which is quite fine, considering, its date and what it is. This is also quite fine. It is Monteux. I mean, he has authority in the music. He didn't particularly care for it, actually. He liked Brahms, but he did it, and it's an exciting, very powerful performance that really fills the room, and you can hear that on this thing. So that's interesting. I mean, Monteux and the Rite of Spring have a special relationship, and I can understand its value for collectors, and it doesn't have that sizzle, hiss, nasty air check sibilance, throughout the entire thing. So that's okay. Then the rest of this stuff is one of those interviews about Monteux things with what's his name, John Talansky, I think is the guy, right? And we don't need that. I mean, it's totally uninteresting. Yes, John Talansky. I mean, he does all these interview things. Good for him. I mean, it's nice, but I don't care. And a bit of Monteux himself in conversation for like 2 seconds, and then 2 tiny snippets of rehearsal of the Dvorak Seventh, lasting a total of 2 minutes and 56 seconds. And that's what you get here. And you pay a good amount of money for 2 discs, and you're never going to want to play this shit. Oops, sorry. You're never going to want to play this merde again. You really aren't, except maybe the Rite of Spring once in a blue moon. Otherwise, it's completely unnecessary. It truly is. And, it's really, labels are staying in business by grabbing stuff wherever they can get it. And Somm has done beautiful things, but there's also some very irresponsible things. And this does nobody's reputation any credit, not the label, not the artists. Bottom line. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.